Welcome to the official Universal Disney Nuts podcast. If you're passionate about Central Florida theme parks like we are, then you've come to the right place. Now on to the show. Here's your host, Bill Balcerski.
Universal Disney Nuts, I am Bill, your host. Welcome back to the Tiki Bar, everybody. UDN live on this very warm day here in Central Florida. See, Dave, you were messing with him too much, and now he's not liking you very much.
It's pet me, but I'm going to bite you when you do it.
That's right. Kona's back at the bar, ladies and gentlemen. And as you know, you recognize that voice. That is Mr.
Kona.
Dave Indy.
Hello.
That's right. And, of course, we have Miss Tanya.
Hi.
So we are...
I got prolonged applause on that one. Wow.
Because
I'm
we
feeling
all know
special
what you
today.
normally get.
I know.
So it's a warm one today.
Yeah.
I'm surprised it hasn't rained yet.
Give
Yeah,
it time.
surprisingly enough, but yeah.
Yeah. Tanya's rocking her sunglasses after getting a little eye appointment done.
Yes.
Soon
So-
for me.
She's styling and profiling with her protective lenses.
Yep.
I am
She got a
over
little
glasses.
LASIK done.
Yep.
What's that?
I'm over glasses.
Yeah.
I've only had them less than 3 years.
She was too, so that's why we did it. So
Yeah. I mean, I had a pair that I could wear like all the time, and I just didn't because
Yep.
I'm not a fan of wearing glasses. And
Nope.
I used to call it the Tanya stare because she would look at something and then she'd have to bring the arm all the way out and squint. Nick does it too, her brother. So I used to call
he
it the
at least
Gronsky
carries
stare
his glasses with him.
because Nick is like got the squint going. You know, it's like, okay, it's time for LASIK, girl.
Yep.
Shot out,
Shot out or shout out?
shot out, whichever you prefer.
One's a cannon, one's a verbal.
Welcome to all our
Never.
new members at UDN family. We have
Yes.
gotten a ton
Yeah.
of new members that have
Like to
joined
see
us.
that.
Exactly.
Yes.
Loving it.
I'll drink to that.
We could not be more excited about it. Be sure to check out the UDN website at worldofudn.com and stay tuned for more great content. But if you are listening to the podcast and this is your first go round with us, welcome. Kona's excited to hear from you.
And for those of you who don't know, Kona is our cat, as is
One of 'em,
Simba. Not sure where Simba is. Usually he's not too far away, but
You forgot to add the spoiled part of it. Those
well,
two are
yes,
the
they are
spoiled
very
cats,
Spoiled cats, yes.
along with the wife.
What is over here?
Bear
We've
Patrol.
had,
I
we've had
know.
bears
Have you
past
seen the
3
video?
nights.
I've seen it. I'm going to sleep in your backyard.
The past 3 nights we've had the bears.
I'm sleeping in your backyard tonight.
Okay.
The upside is that we've had a couple of black bears come through the backyard, and
Mama and her cub.
yes,
It's so cute.
the cuteness. However, the downside is they're getting into our garbage
Yeah, I
and
saw.
dragging the garbage bags all over the yard.
Well,
so
and the neighbors. And
yeah.
yeah.
So the cuteness only goes so far, and then it becomes
we're the
annoying.
Picnic table.
Clearly.
Our yard has always been the picnic table. They go scrounging at other people's garbage, and then they drag the
bags to our yard so they can eat.
Yeah.
But Yogi, what about the ranger? You know, it's like, come on. So,
All right, back on topic here.
where do we start?
Squirrel.
So much going on. Yeah, exactly. But if you are in these parks, I hope to God you are hydrating because it has been a hot week.
Yes, it has
Yes.
Yeah, and I feel sorry for the people who are walking around doing their 12-mile trek without properly hydrating. That's for sure.
been. I went Thursday, and I was staying hydrated.
Yeah,
I-
good for
I
you.
did well.
The parks are super busy right now. Wow, holy people.
Yes.
Wall to wall.
Temperatures
Yeah.
are flaring.
Wear your deodorant.
My God. Start of an epic festival. The
Yes.
biggest festival that Disney has.
Yes, the Food and Wine Festival.
I honestly believe that's still number one. I think that festival is far and away. Food and wine
It's certainly
blows
the
everything.
longest.
Okay, the flower and garden show is great. You know, you go in there, it's all beautiful. Pictures. Yeah, we get it. But and they have
Wow.
The arts is cool.
I like the arts. But that one's only a month and a half long. So
I like the cookie that's like that art
The
palette.
The one where
with
they
the
cut
colors
out
on.
a center and then charge you more for the cookie.
Yes, that's exactly right. $12.95 for a half-eaten cookie. But let's kind of get into it. Exciting news. Speaking about Epcot, speaking about the festival, after a 16-month closure, Disney has announced that the Epcot monorail is finally returning to service.
yes, Sunday the 18th.
Sunday.
Woohoo!
It's nice to
so
see it
excited
going
about
again.
that.
Yeah. Just in time for the International Food and Wine Festival.
Yeah.
How exciting.
Yes.
Speaking of said epic international Food and Wine Festival,
Mm-hmm.
or should I say Epcot? But it is epic.
It is.
Not to knock on Universal,
I was
Dave.
about ready to say.
I know. The Epcot International Food and Wine Festival. Tanya had a chance to go on opening day. I hope you had a chance to go on Universal Disney Nuts Facebook page and see all of the cool videos that she had.
I did.
She was rocking the tropical ears, which seemed to be extremely popular. And she also did a lot of the food stuff. The food looks amazing.
I agree.
Yes,
So-
I agree. It was I had some really, really good things.
I bet you did.
Can't wait to go back and try more.
So great videos and pictures on the UDN Facebook page. She will touch on it more later in the podcast.
Bill's Wallet had a great
yes.
visit to Epcot.
Yeah, Bill's Wallet certainly enjoyed it.
Wow,
That's for
just
sure.
stop already.
Let's talk about Shades of Green. Obviously, you know Shades of Green is an extremely popular resort for military personnel.
Yes.
Well,
Some of the largest rooms on property.
yes, and also they redid the resort. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are prior service or currently serving in the military, you want to come down and see Central Florida theme parks, highly recommend staying at Shades of Green.
Yep.
Mhm.
It's nice to see they still give back to the military.
You can even
which is
get
good.
Universal tickets there.
Yes, you
Yes,
can.
but the big news about Shades of Green right now is starting October 1st, anyone staying in the hotel will now be eligible for early park admission,
Nice.
as well as extended evening hours.
I don't think I knew they weren't qualified prior.
They were not. But obviously, you're going to need a reservation and a ticket.
Yeah.
Well,
Obviously. I mean,
yes.
duh,
Yeah.
right?
That goes without saying.
Do you ever see these parks going away from reservation system, Disney-wise?
That's hard to say. From some of the announcements that they've been
say
making
no
and some
for
of
Disney.
the comments, it does not look like reservations are going anywhere anytime soon for Disney.
So why do you think they're hanging on to it? To control the crowds?
Yep.
yeah.
But they're already having problems already.
Yes.
I mean, let's be honest. These parks are packed.
They are. So I don't see what the difference was prior.
At least now they know how many are coming by releasing X amount of days or numbers of
Yeah, I
people
guess I see
versus
that
Yeah.
because,
just going, hey, I think I'm going to Disney today.
yeah, let's imagine if Disney did what Universal did and said, no, come on,
First
whatever.
come, first serve. Get
come
in
on,
here.
come on.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like Disney would be at capacity every single day.
Yep.
Yeah,
Especially the
SeaWorld-
summertime.
SeaWorld just dropped their reservations. So you don't need to make reservations at SeaWorld
I
any
don't remember
longer.
who it was, but they were just voted best park in the U.S.
SeaWorld.
I saw that. Yeah.
It wasn't Travelocity because usually Universal's Islands gets that, but yeah.
I
Better
think
Homes
you've
and
been having
Gardens,
too many
Southern-
beers,
No,
bro.
I
No,
read the
seriously.
same thing.
SeaWorld.
SeaWorld won best park for, yeah.
And there was also something about
What?
one of their roller coasters.
Are you sure that they're not talking about water park?
Yeah.
No,
'Cause-
it was the
No,
I
it
was shocked as you were.
SeaWorld.
I mean, I can understand Aquatica. Aquatica is the best water park in Orlando.
Yeah.
Well, no, there is no.
No, I
it
love
is.
No, I love Aquatica.
I mean, Volcano Bay is like 1B, but Aquatica cannot be touched
Could you
as
imagine
far
if
as
we
a
could
water park.
combine the two of those with
Like, if you took
with the
Aquatica
theming?
with the theming of Volcano Bay,
Yeah, that would be.
you would never see me. I would be constantly there. Like, that would be sick. Well, good for SeaWorld. I mean,
yeah, Dave's gonna
okay.
look that up, but Yeah, I remember reading the same thing.
Either that or he's hitting up his porn. I'm not, I'm not sure what he's doing over there.
Somehow I logged into your midget account.
Oh, awkward. Okay, moving
Hey,
on.
it's a family show. Keep it clean.
Yeah, I'll teach him to talk.
All right. Well played, Mr. Indy. Well played. In other news, speaking about major crowds, the major crowds have taken their toll the last week here at Disney.
Yeah, when the temperatures rise, so does everybody.
You get a combination of a ton of people in a very small area, overheated people,
tired,
cranky,
Yep.
probably spent too much money that they wanted to, and they're all trying to get out all at once at the end of the night, right?
Yep.
So you look at it, and earlier this week, people were waiting for the ferry, and of course, tempers got heated, and of course, next thing you know, a major brawl breaks out in the line queue.
At least you didn't go West Side Story.
So basically what happened was when people were waiting for the ferry, tempers flared, and next thing you know, ding, ding. And it got into fisticuffs, and it did not end well. Apparently, the fight lasted quite a long time because Disney security wasn't around. So,
well, how could they even get there through
with all those crowds?
people?
Yeah, well, they eventually got there. They broke up the fight, but you only had a limited employees working the ferry system. Plus, you had to get security through all that. So it did not end well. Luckily, there was no injuries. 2 days later, the same queue line for the ferry, tempers flared again. And this time it didn't go to blows, but they had a bunch of people screaming at each other, pushing each other, shoving each other. People, take a breath. I understand you're hot. I understand you've had a long day, probably ate too much sugar, probably spent too much money.
Smell ripe.
And you're trying to get the what out of there. But you got to be patient. Everybody leaving all at once at the end of the night, it's going to be busy. We're going to touch on this a little bit later on in the podcast because I think the system that Disney has doesn't help that situation. And we're going to talk about that here in a little bit.
I still say Magic Kingdom's the worst park to get out of.
Absolutely. I agree with that.
And it was USA Today voted by readers. SeaWorld was the best. They won also for Aquatica for water park and Mako as best coaster.
Wow. How does Mako win over Velocicoaster?
Well, maybe it wasn't on the list yet.
That might have been.
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
maybe the evaluation.
Mako is awesome. Mako is probably one of my favorite ones.
Yeah, but you haven't been on Velocicoaster.
You're right.
Yet.
I haven't.
So we'll have to get her on Mako, and then she'll have to tell us which one's better.
Or I just need to get on Veloster.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
there,
Or
that
you could
too.
do that too.
Come August, I'll be on it at least.
So, folks, if you're waiting in line, obviously at the end of the night, there's a lot of people trying to get out, get back to their vehicles, get back to the Ticket and Transportation Center, so they can get out and get on with their lives. There's going to be a lot of people trying to do that all at once.
You've got thousands of people all trying to leave at the same time.
Exactly.
You have
And
to
here's the
expect
scary
that.
version. Scary version, we're at 50% capacity at the parks.
We're higher than that. They can say that all they want. There's no way it's at 50%. It's higher.
What is the max? How many people max do you think those parks can hold? I think I read like 160,000.
I think it depends on which park you're talking about.
Like all of them.
Magic Kingdom. No, they all have different.
No, you're right.
capacity.
You're right. They all have different capacity numbers, but I'm trying to remember now.
Like Universal, I think was around 100,000 to between 100 to 200.
Wasn't like Magic Kingdom like around 95,000 people?
Yeah, I don't
Like
remember.
Epcot would be
We'll have
more.
to look at it.
Epcot, I think, was about 110,000.
Studios would be smaller. Animal Kingdom would probably be
Smaller,
somewhere in there,
yeah.
even though it's the biggest
Yeah,
park.
I think Tanya's very close. I think it's around the 100,000 mark.
Yeah, it's 1 to 150, something like that.
Yeah. The bigger parks, I think, hold like 160.
Yeah.
But they're saying they're only at 50%. I don't see it. Like, you should see the crowds that are in these parks right now. It's insane.
No, because as a Florida resident, I'm not dumb enough to go.
Yeah. Well, here's the other thing you got to remember, too.
It's
This
too
whole
hot.
COVID thing is coming back around.
Yep.
They talk about this whole Delta variant thing. Okay, whatever. They're just trying to keep it in the news. But if it's serious and that's a real thing, then guess what? we're going to be dealing with this COVID thing again.
Universal Hollywood's already said mask back on for, I don't know if it's just indoors or in general in the parks, but I know they're now requiring masks again.
They're requiring masks again?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, I just happened to catch that.
Interesting.
Oh, I didn't catch that either.
Either.
Oh.
And
Neither.
okay, there we go. We'll check that out. Speaking of Universal, let's talk about Halloween Horror Nights because we're going to be talking about that until we throw up. Halloween Horror Nights is getting shoved down everybody's throats again because it's that time of the year, folks. I mean, we're only a couple of weeks away from August, right? So Halloween Horror Nights, this is the big one, folks. This is the big 3-0 for Halloween Horror Nights. I am old. And ladies and gentlemen,
That is true.
breaking news here at UDN Live. Universal Studios Hollywood is requiring masks indoors again starting July 18th. So does that mean Orlando's going to follow suit? I don't know.
I don't know. It's California. Remember that.
Yeah. They tend to blow things out of proportion a little bit. So Universal Hollywood is going back to masks. We'll see if Florida follows suit.
I think it depends on our mayor versus our governor.
Yeah.
Because our governor's got some cojones.
I think you got that right. Getting back to the 30th anniversary of Halloween Horror Nights, we already know that one of the houses is going to be the Haunting Hill.
Yep.
And of course, Jack the Clown will be there. No, thank you.
Oh, I love Jack.
Yeah, no. There's 3 things in this world I don't mess with. Clowns, snakes, and the IRS.
Well, good thing one of them you're not allowed that.
Well, that's true. That's very true. But now we add the Texas Chainsaw Massacre
Yep.
as the second house. Let's bring on some Leatherface. Remember, when you hear the chainsaw, it's too late to run.
I always think of that Geico commercial with all those stupid people. Remember that one?
Yeah.
No, let's cut through the cemetery. Get in the
Yay!
move. Get in the running car.
Oh, God, yes, that's a good one. Halloween Horror Nights will be the best one yet. Obviously, Halloween Horror Nights 30 is going to be a big deal this year. I think Dave's got some more information.
I do.
So we'll get to you in a second, sir, if your mic doesn't fall down.
It's gone limp.
Oh, God. I'm sure that's not the first time that's happened, sir.
What are you doing over there?
Apparently, I didn't rub the lamp hard enough.
He didn't rub the lamp hard enough and his mic fell in.
Oh, I screwed it hard now. I'm good. And you want to keep screwing it for me? Thanks.
Awkward. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Dave Indy.
Hey, everybody. So, yeah, I'll keep it going on HHN stuff. Speaking of that, the tribute store for the Jurassic Park stuff, if you're trying to get in there, get your T-shirts and stuff, that officially closes on 8/9 to make room for that Halloween Horror Nights tribute store. As Bill said, we got Jack the Clown coming back. We have Texas Chainsaw Massacre. We also have The Bride of Frankenstein, the Haunt Hill House. Also, we got my favorite that I didn't get to see yet, Beetlejuice. Other ones that I know that are going to be back is going to be Puppet Theater, Captive Audience, and Revenge of the Tooth Fairy is rumored to come back, which was the one that they did last year, as well as Bride of Frankenstein.
The Revenge of the Tooth Fairy.
That was the freebie one that they did. Other one you can see a sign currently for, and according to some of the rumor mills, you can see the word Welcome to Scary. The rumored house is going to be Welcome to Horror in the Heartlands. The other ones that are rumored still for houses to be announced is the Wicked Growth, Realm of the Pumpkins. I don't know if Jack's going to play into this one or not, but it's HHN Icon Capture. And then the one that's up for question is Creep Show, because it's listed also as a scare zone as a possibility. So that's maybe where Jack is, and Jack has his own house.
I can see that.
So 30th anniversary, they got to do something.
Yeah, I'm sure this is going to be absolutely mayhem.
No info yet, but the Fear Factor has the black signs up over it again.
Yeah, I hear they're doing away with it.
Yeah, well, it's eventually going to go away altogether.
I heard they're making that into something. I can't
It'll be
remember what I
Potter.
read. Oh, Harry Potter. That's right.
Potter's
Yep.
always been rumored to get it. Now that they don't have Bill and Ted's, and Academy's definitely not ever coming back because they split ways.
That
It was gonna be
broomstick
the-
thing, right?
the virtual
The
reality.
virtual reality
yeah.
broomstick ride that Universal got sideswiped on. That was somebody.
Oh, by the way,
Yeah.
we're going to go ahead and open this ride in New York first.
And it's going to be similar to what you've been working on for the last 4 years with us, but we didn't tell you about it.
If I was the Universal Creative, I believe that's what it's called.
Yes.
If I was one of those guys, I would be furious.
Yeah.
If I spent 4 years working on this virtual reality ride, and then all of a sudden the same exact ride opens up in New York,
Yeah.
it's like almost a carbon copy of what we're doing. Yeah, dogs and cats living together. Would
Somebody
not
at
go
Warner
well.
Brother has some explaining to do.
That's
at
right,
one point or
absolutely.
another, both projects crossed the same guy's desk. At that point, he should have, unless he was just that stupid or hungover, to realize that, hey, these are two different experiences.
Or, nothing happens,
Accidentally.
right? So
Yep. Somebody's
major
palms-
fail, Warner Brothers.
Somebody's palms is a little bit
Greased.
fatter. So, but we definitely got that to pay attention to. So, like I said, the signs are up. It's blacked out curtains on it. They've kind of got the blackout curtains. You can't really see into it, so don't know if it'll be a show. It was originally going to be a rest area at one point, but they could use Animal Actor as a rest area technically, which I didn't do anything on this. But the 70 pigeons that were rescued a while back on Daytona when they fell off a truck,
Yes.
nobody claimed them. Universal is actually going to take those pigeons and turn them into a show.
Is that
somehow.
right?
So Universal stepping up and taking.
I had not heard
That's
about
awesome.
that.
Yeah, I heard about it, but I didn't know what happened. I just
Yeah.
thought they went to a shelter or
They
something.
did. They went. They were young and stuff. Some of them really will have long distance flying issues and stuff. From what I read, I just read it quickly on.
So what's stopping Universal from opening the thing during the show and then just keep flying?
They're probably trained homing pigeons.
Yeah,
I mean,
I get it.
I'm
get it.
assuming.
Well, you think in Animal Kingdom they have the Macaw show,
Well, they
and they
already
always
have
come
the
back.
animal one.
Yeah.
Actually, Universal
That is
did
actually
have an
pretty
issue
cool.
with that. They had one of their birds fly off during the show, but it's landed around City Walk or somewhere.
Yeah, I think I've
It
read
was like
that
gone
somewhere.
for like a day or something.
And it was like a manhunt to try to find it, right?
Yeah, and it was
I
like a
remember
hawk or something. So definitely keep an eye on that one as well.
I like the whole macaw thing at Animal Kingdom because they just dive bomb you as you're walking. You're like, whoa!
Then it poops
It's
on
cool.
I love watching the unsuspecting people on the bridge, and all of a sudden they're like,
Yeah, we're so desensitized to it. Now we just let it, right by our head. And there's people that
It's
are
just
just
funny
like, oh my
watching
God.
everybody's reactions. It's
I ain't worried about the
awesome.
bird flying into my head. I'm just worried about being pooped on.
Yeah, well,
I don't
there's-
go. I don't go in any at Animal Kingdom. I avoid the aviary just because I don't want to get pooped on,
Yeah.
and I'm keeping it PC by saying poop.
All right, fair enough.
So, other things going on. Veloster coaster. Over in the Tribute store currently right now, they got replicas of the posters that are in the locker areas when you go through, so you can get the lithograph
really?
ones.
Oh, cool.
Really cool. On
Those
that
are
one.
cool posters.
Yeah.
To Jurassic Park.
That's my.
Yeah,
Bill's got his. I got my. Ooh.
that's right.
And speaking of that, as something that considering Velocicoaster just opened, June 10th, which was
Well, officially
officially
June 10th.
right?
It was unofficially
open
early.
for a lot longer than that.
middle
Yeah.
of May.
Rich and Barb and all them. You guys went on that
Yeah.
before June,
Yeah,
right?
it was
No,
about
it was
the middle
June
of May.
1st.
June
when they
1st, you guys
started
went on
it.
it.
But,
But that was open. It was open for several weeks.
Yeah.
Prior to that, because
mid-May is when they did the team member.
The
but
team
the thing
member
is, do
and
they
cast.
start counting the people as the official grand opening, or do they count the people before?
I don't know the answer to that.
Because Universal just hit the millionth rider for that ride already.
Wow.
So I'm assuming it's from the grand opening.
I would think that it would almost have to be,
Because
right?
that would, to me, would be their official start point. And that's where you
Yeah.
would start to counter.
Right. Not to say that they didn't, have a ton of people that wrote it beforehand, but
Yeah.
think
So,
about the pass holders, think about the employees,
employees,
the
repeat
executives, the repeat riders.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
There's
So-
a ton of people that have ridden that ride.
Definitely.
I wish I can get on it.
Yeah, me too.
It would
I
not
just don't
end
have the
well.
free time.
I mean, I could do it. I'm going to pay the price, but I can do it.
Hold my
I
beer.
would not recommend you doing that,
I know,
sweetheart.
I know.
I'm sorry.
Ooh, she is a sweetheart.
Hold my beer.
Ooh.
Watch this.
And then,
Hey, Rich, watch this.
but right now, due to, they got the rings right now at Universal City Walk. Rings Across America was there. It started yesterday and today at City Walk. The rings are about 13 feet tall. They will cover a total of 8,000 miles across the U.S., including stops in Chicago, Miami, Washington, D.C., and New York.
Can you explain that a little bit more? What are you
The
talking
Olympic
about
rings. Sorry.
So
They have a replica of the giant rings from the Olympics.
the five colored rings.
And right now you can get a photo op with them at Universal if you hurry down there today.
Okay, so they just, and these are the original rings?
These are ones that I don't know if they're fully original. It never said, but they're called Rings Across America.
And they're just moving it from point A to point B. I didn't hear about this.
Yeah, they've done Hollywood. They're right now they landed yesterday or stopped yesterday at Orlando for yesterday and today. And then they are going, I don't know if it's down to Miami. And
so you can just get a photo op with
a photo op in front of the rings because the Olympics obviously are starting.
The 23rd.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm not a big fan of it. But what is kind of cool is because
I love the Olympics.
I don't really watch it.
Yawn.
So,
go ahead.
But
guys don't know
because the Tokyo not allowing spectators because of them still being in a state of emergency.
No spectators this year.
Kind of cool that Universal, NBC, and the Olympic Committee and 2 other sponsors are offering each Team USA athlete plane tickets, 4 days accommodations for either 2 family or friends, basically to come here. And then they'll be able to visit the NBC Team USA Hospitality Lounge to watch the games and have dinner. So they're basically setting them up here at Universal Orlando.
Wow, that's very cool.
So way to step up, especially since Comcast basically is it's NBC. So
yeah,
that's true.
They definitely are a family company and they take care of families. So.
I'd imagine that NBC Cafe at City Walk's going to be pretty busy.
Oh yeah, they're going to have that on the screens. You can go to City Walk and watch it in huge.
Yeah, you can be over there.
Apparently
and
Comcast even throws parties for the people that they're firing. So yeah.
Yeah, well,
got to do what you got to do.
You did not just do the fun spot huge.
Oh, I did.
Oh God. Thank you, Mr.
Well, at least I was talking about fun spot.
Certainly appreciate that. We're going to leave that right there. And of course, now we are going to bring in the lovely Miss Tanya.
Aww.
With your Disney news.
Yeah, got a little stuff here to go over. So Disney...
Let's not make this a 3-hour podcast.
Let's try not to.
Or a tour.
So Disney finally made the announcement of the final resort openings. So Polynesian is going to be reopening this Monday, July 19th.
Nice.
Animal Kingdom Lodge is reopening on August 26th. All-Star Music is reopening September 16th. Port Orleans Riverside is reopening October 14th. Port Orleans French Quarter, October 28th. And last but not least, All-Star Sport is reopening on December 9th. And after all of that, the Disney resorts will all be fully reopened.
I didn't know the treehouse was already open.
I love those tree houses.
Those are cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, those are really cool. And all resorts have already started accepting bookings. So,
nice.
Yeah.
There you go.
Finally.
There it is.
So, as of December 9th, all Disney resorts will be fully reopened. Woo! We also mentioned on the last podcast about Run Disney starting in-person races again, starting with the Wine and Dine Half Marathon weekend, November 4th through the 7th of this year. Bill and I were able to sign up for the Wine and Dine 5K.
Ladies and gentlemen, Universal Disney Nuts will be there.
We're going to try and go live. I'm not sure that'll work, but
maybe
we'll do what we
Tanya will
can.
go live, but Facebook tends to not like what I have to say from time to time. So,
yeah, well, this is a little different. It's a Disney race.
But
so,
we will be wearing our UDN shirts, so you'll know who we are and what we're doing. So
yeah. And if you want to participate, as of today, there were still spots left for the 5K, half marathon, and the 2-course challenge. The 10K was sold out.
Which is unbelievable because
So, I
typically
know.
those races sell out like that.
Yeah. Well, they also had it open for virtual people as well to participate wherever they are. Because obviously not everybody is able to
Well, I certainly hope
get out of their state or country or whatever to be able to come over and participate.
Right. I certainly hope we get it in. If things go sideways with this new COVID stuff, we may not even get a chance to run it.
Yep. So next up after that is going to be the Walt Disney World Marathon weekend, January 5th through the 9th in 2022. Club Run Disney Golden Platinum registration opens up July 20th. So this Tuesday coming up at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. General registration for in-person races opens July 27th at 10 a.m. And general registration for virtual races opens on July 30th at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you're looking to participate in the Walt Disney World Marathon, some of these are, signing up back to back to back, because then after that is the marathon weekend for Princess Half Marathon weekend, which is February 24th through the 27th, 2022.
That's the weekend she tried to kill me on, was the Princess weekend.
I didn't try to do
Is that when she put you in the death box?
Yes. No, not the death box. I would gladly take the death box and do that challenge again. That killed me.
You heard it here.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
it's called
That
the
killed
Glass
me.
Slipper Challenge, and you do the 10K on Saturday, and then you participate in the half marathon on Sunday.
So you got to do the 10K, wake up the next morning, you can't feel your face because you just did a 10K, and now you got to do a half
6.2
marathon.
miles. Come on.
Okay, for somebody who does 6.2 miles on a regular basis, that's great. But we didn't train for that properly.
I was fine.
Oh, yeah, you were fine. I got to mile 11
and you were done.
I hit the wall like a crash test dummy.
Yeah, I'm sorry, baby.
My God, woman, trying to kill me.
Hey, you
How's that
had
life insurance looking?
Yeah, exactly.
you
But
had
hey, I
time
got
to train for it.
I had a really, really awesome glass slipper medal that I walked away with. We had bedazzled jewels on it, and it was very nice.
To go with your other bedazzled
He
stuff.
likes bedazzled.
Yeah, he's got his jeans and his jackets and his dress.
What else you got, woman?
So registration dates for the Princess Half Marathon open up next month. So Club Run Disney is August 17th. General registration for in-person races opens August 24th. And general registration for virtual races opens on August 27th. Those are all at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
That's way too much running.
Way too much running.
And then last but not least, a new Run Disney Springtime Surprise Weekend will be held March 31st through April 3rd, 2022. No registration information has been released as of yet, but we will keep you posted on when it does. And I definitely want to participate in probably all of those events.
Well, what's cool about that
All of
one,
them?
Yeah.
all of them. Every single one you just read.
No.
Okay.
Me too. She
Oh,
said all of
God.
them.
No, for the Princess Half Marathon, I want to do the 10K.
Lord, here I come. No, the secret the secret weekend thing is very cool. I'm into that because it'd be interesting because they don't tell you what the deal is. You have to sign up for it, and then once you get there, you find out what you're doing.
You don't know what the theme is or anything. It's
Nothing.
a brand new theme this year, so
It's like, come on, we'll let you know when you get here and you're ready to run, how long you're running and what you're doing.
I only do two: a beer run or to the bathroom after Taco Bell. But I don't do any other runs.
If I had to take an educated guess, I would say it's probably going to be somewhere in between a 5K and a 10K. Like a 7.5K or some weird number like that.
I have no idea. Hopefully we'll find out
13.1 or something. I don't know.
Around the Seven Seas Lagoon.
I don't even know where it's going to be. They don't tell you.
We know nothing.
I'm just
at this
keeping with that
point.
7 theme.
So,
It's cool though. If you ever have checked out Run Disney, it's a very cool thing to do. If you guys are runners, you guys like to stay in shape, obviously, please don't do Run Disney if you haven't trained. On their website, there's a trainer that goes in there. Yeah, Dave, you need to.
Round as a shape.
Jeff Galloway.
But you definitely need to train for these events. They have the balloon ladies.
You have to maintain at least a 16-minute mile.
And theoretically, you could walk the majority of it and
And there's
maintain.
people that do.
Yeah, and that's fine. If that's you, that's fine. We don't judge. But, just keep in mind that if the balloon ladies catch you, you're on the bus and you get fast forwarded to the end. So, because they only have a certain amount of time period.
Yeah, because they have to reopen the main roadways.
Yeah. So, I mean,
The
it's.
balloon lady?
Yes, they're called the balloon ladies. There's 4 of them. And they all walk hand in hand, right next to each other, and they have balloons.
Yeah, they maintain the 16-minute mark. And if you're in front of them, you're
You're good.
golden. If you get behind them, you're in danger of getting swept up and picked up by the bus and brought to the end.
So their back, they have balloons attached to their vests. So the balloons mark, and as they walk, that's the virtual line. And if you cross that virtual line, there's a bus that picks you up.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it's cool. You definitely want to try to keep away from the balloon ladies. They are very popular, though, especially at the end of the race. Everybody talks to the balloon ladies. But again, if you're going to do this Run Disney stuff, don't go in it cold because, the 5K is not a big deal. But anything more than a 5K, you better have some kind of physical fitness.
The 5K is more of a fun run. They really don't take that one too seriously. But the 10K, the half marathon, and the full marathon, the ladies are out and
get medals at the end. They ran it.
They work for Disney. I seriously doubt it. They walk it.
I don't care. They still did it. They should get medals.
Theoretically, I guess. All right. Yeah, it's very cool though the way they got that set up, and they have characters that are along the thing. So it's not like a regular marathon where it's start and then you don't go. It's like start and finish.
Yeah.
It's like
I've seen
gun
photos
to cross the
of it.
finish line. Yeah, it's
photo ops and everything.
Yeah,
and
they have all these characters that are on there, and like when we did our first Run Disney, it was awkward because we thought we were doing like a 5K. Gun goes off. It's go time. Personal best. Here we go. And not even a quarter of the way in, there's Cinderella and everybody stopping for pictures. I'm like, are we not doing a race right now? Like what? And then by the end of the 5K, we were stopping for pictures,
There's Jessica Rabbit.
Oh my God, could you imagine?
Bill's getting picked up on the bus.
Man, you don't even know. You don't even know if Jessica's there. She's just drawn well. But it's a very cool experience. They do it right. I mean, I have to honestly tell you that Run Disney does it right.
No, I can see that if you're into that kind of stuff.
It's very entertaining, and it's a great way to exercise and get it done. And we've done a couple. We did that one that was at nighttime, and that was through Animal Kingdom. That was cool.
That maybe.
It was like an obstacle course. It was like the adventure. No, it was like an adventure one, Mount Everest Adventure. And basically it was a 5K, but it was an obstacle course, and you ran from one to another, and like you had to jump bales. And I'm thinking to myself, oh God, people are going to die. And then we had to do
the lions.
You had to jump the bales of hay. And then another one was you had to do the little footsteps through the tires.
And then you had to crawl under a tarp also.
Oh yeah. And then at the end, when you're almost exhausted, you hit the ground and you have to battle crawl underneath a tarp.
I loved that race.
I just wanted to lay there.
Bring that one back.
Yeah, that was a cool one. I'm surprised they got rid of that one. That was cool. And the medal was cool too because
it was a compass.
It was one of those old school compasses that you fold out. Yeah. So the medal, when you look at it, it's just looks like a medallion, but then it opens up and there's a compass in the middle.
See, that's kind of cool.
And then
it was very cool. It's very cool.
Yeah, and then you had the scavenger hunt afterwards.
Oh, yeah, the scavenger hunt. They had a bunch of questions.
Yeah, so what you do is you run the 5K first, and then when you cross the finish line, they give you a card, and you have to figure out the riddle on the card to be able to know what station to go to next. So, and there's usually there was 5 stations that you had to go to. So there was 5 riddles or something that you had to do.
Interesting.
So you ran the race, and then after the race was done, then you could jog or you could walk or you could do whatever, and you go to the first area, and then you solve that riddle.
Then you go to the next station, and there was 5 stations total. And then when you uncovered the last clue, it would tell you what you had to do to go back over the finish line again, whether
you had to hold up a number or something.
Something
like that.
Hold up 4 fingers, skip, hop, whatever it was. And
it was a very cool thing.
Yeah.
So I just sit at the finish line until everyone's done it, and
right, exactly.
save my energy.
Exactly.
So good times. I wish they would bring that one back.
I hope they do eventually. Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. It was a cool one.
Or even some night races again. I miss those.
They definitely need to do night races. It's
Florida,
yeah, big time.
But I can understand why they don't. So, and as we had said before, this past Thursday, July 15th, was the first day of the Epcot International Food and Wine Festival. presented by Corksicle. UDN.
We had that conversation already.
Yeah, I know.
UDN and UDN Live were representing, obviously. The festival runs till November 20th, so there is plenty of time for you to try out, well, everything, really, including booths that don't open until October 1st. So booths that are open now that you can sample stuff in as Earth Eats. A new one this year is called the Noodle Exchange. You have Shimmering Sips, Australia, Refreshment Port, Canada, Appleseed Orchard, France. Also, another new one this year is Tangerine Cafe, Flavors of the Medina. Greece, Japan, Hops and Barley, Funnel Cake. Also new is Rotunda
Funnel
Bistro.
cake.
Yum.
Italy, Germany, Refreshment Outpost, China, Mexico. Another new one for this year was the Swanky Saucy Swine. Save that one 5 times fast.
Go for it.
No, thank you.
No. Hawaii. Another new one. It's called Brew Wing at the Epcot Experience.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah, they have all different flavored wings and beer, obviously. There's also the Donut Box. And last but not least, Flavors from Fire. Those are all the ones that are open now. Booths that are opening October 1st, you have Ireland, Brazil, Belgium, Spain, the Alps, Kenya, India, Lobster Landing, and Mac and Eats.
Ooh, Mac and Eats is good.
Yeah,
That
and there
sounds
was
yummy.
yeah, the Lobster Landing one sounded really good too. So there's a lot that you can still partake, but you have to wait until October 1st for those booths.
Shut up and get my mouth.
Emil's Fromage Montage has returned with tasty new treats to try from 5 participating kiosks of Greece, Germany, the Swanky Saucy Swine, Hawaii, and Flavors from Fire. Get a stamp in your passport book and then visit Shimmering Sips for your completion prize.
I read a stat a couple years ago about the Food and Wine Festival,
Okay.
and it would cost you, if you had everything that they offered.
Oh, I remember reading that.
Remember we had that one
Yeah.
It's
podcast?
outrageous.
It was like
If
$2,100.
you tried like every single
Everything.
thing that was on the menu. Yeah.
And now they have new stuff, so I'm sure that price is going to go up.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's somebody out there who's done every single item.
I'm sure there has. I never would because there's a lot of beer and I don't drink beer.
Yeah, I mean,
so-
there's a lot of stuff that people probably don't like, but there's got to be some kind of fanatic out there outside of my wife that would
What?
that would
Really?
spend that kind of money to be that person. You know what I mean? Like to be that person who's had everything on the menu.
I would
Oh,
not
I'm sure
want to,
there's a
so-
few there.
I'm sure. But you also have over 4 months to do it all in,
That's
too.
true.
So
It's true.
Remy's Ratatouille Hide and Squeak returns again this year. Always fun looking for Remy around Epcot. And have I mentioned merchandise? So much merchandise this year. Oh my gosh.
Ching.
The merch.
Oh my
Bill's
gosh.
wallet.
It's actually almost overwhelming.
That's exactly what it is. Go ahead.
I did not actually buy a whole heck of a lot.
She plotted out what she's going to buy.
She
No,
already,
I
she already
really
brought
didn't.
home like 5 things.
No. I got 2 pins and an ornament. That's all I bought.
Really?
Yeah.
Sure about that?
Besides some of the food. But you can't
okay.
bring that home.
Okay.
So
We'll go with that. Sure.
you have obviously your pass holder exclusive items to Food and Wine Festival exclusive items. You have t-shirts, spirit jerseys, ears, ornaments. You have Figment items, Remy exclusive items, Belle Be Our Guest items, which some of those were really cute. There was a Lumiere tray. There was Chip, and it's a set of 4 measuring cups. But when you stack them all together, it looks like Chip. And they had a lot of other really cute items. Let's see here. We've got Mickey and Minnie's Apple Orchard theme items, the Brew Collection, plus exclusive festival items for La Cava del Tequila.
Bless you.
Say
I
that
know,
3 times fast.
right? So this was one thing that I thought was really cool this year is that they were
Tequila?
taking some of the countries and doing food and wine exclusive items for those countries. So for Mexico, they were doing items for La Cava del Tequila bar. And there was glasses. The glasses were really cool. And they had like 4 different glasses. They had a shot glass, they had a wine glass, margarita glass, and a rocks glass. And they have the logo on them and everything. They were really nice looking, really cool.
I'll wait till Bill buys a pair.
I'm sure it's only a matter of time.
We have
plenty-
too much glassware.
Way
Not
too much
getting
glassware.
any.
As you can tell, I'm starting to collect the plastic now because as great as it is to have glass, it doesn't work with the pool. It doesn't work with the patio. It's much better to have plastic.
Yeah,
It bounces easier.
it does.
Indeed, it does. Trust us.
And
We
then they
found
also
out the hard way.
had food and wine items for Canada and the UK as well. So that I thought was really, really cool. And the direction that they went in that. But otherwise, I mean, there's just so much different merchandise and it's everywhere. So, you have a lot of the pass holder items that were up front in Mouse Gear. One of the I think it was port of entry was almost all food and wine festival related stuff. But then they were also in kiosks throughout the World Showcase as well.
How much is a Spirit jersey these days? $50, $60?
$69.99,
Oh,
I think,
God.
something like that.
Nope.
Bro.
And there was probably about 5 new Spirit jerseys out.
What do you think the bottom cost line for a Spirit jersey is? $20 maybe?
I wouldn't even think that much.
Maybe 15 to make?
It depends if they're doing it in-house or not.
They got to be doing it
If they're doing all
in-house,
the
bro.
printing
Come on.
in-house,
They're
other
not
than
doing
buying
it
the
in-house.
well,
I don't put them past them. They have a whole factory that's probably kicking those things out left and right
let's see.
because they can control the quality control. Then
Little Chinese kids. One shirt
don't
for-
say the C word. We're gonna don't say the C word, man. We're gonna get banned from Facebook.
Speak for yourself.
Hashtag bitter.
Hashtag you. No, I'd say I wouldn't even think maybe $10 a shirt.
Wow, and they're charging $60, $70.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about Disney. Absolutely, that sounds about Disney. What, $200
Well,
profit?
they're the same price in Universal.
200%.
So, anyway. So up on the UDN Facebook page, there's a couple of videos from going live at the festival. Also pictures and descriptions of the items that I had sampled while walking along. And as I go back, I'll continue to post more pictures and descriptions for you. In the meantime, I still have some pictures to get up from Thursday of like the merchandise and just some random shots from around the World Showcase. So keep a watch out for that. But some of my favorite items from when I was walking around from
She's opening the file of
Australia.
decks.
Australia, the grilled sweet and spicy bushberry shrimp was amazing.
Was it good?
Loved it. Yeah, that was really good. And then-
Bushberry.
Sounds like
Interesting.
something I'd want to eat in Norway.
Yeah, it had
Sure.
pineapple,
Definitely
pepper,
Norway.
onion, and snap peas, and so good.
It was good.
And then the mimosa flight from Shimmering Sips, and they had 3 mimosas: a tropical mimosa with sparkling wine and passion fruit, orange, and guava juices.
Pog.
Yep. Key lime mimosa with key lime sparkling wine and white cranberry juice, and a blood orange mimosa with sparkling wine and blood orange juice.
What's with all the key
Oh.
lime lately? You notice there's a ton of key lime stuff out?
It's probably the latest
Flavors
thing.
of the summer.
Yeah, like
That's
Everglades
what's
has got a
going.
key lime now.
Yeah, but that's going on down at Disney Springs. They're doing a flavors of the summer thing, and it was key lime, blood orange, and passion fruit, I believe.
Right.
So
Well, thank you, Miss Tanya.
you're very welcome.
That was Tanya with your Disney news. Super excited about the Epcot International Food and Wine Festival. Should be getting down there. Same Orange Bird cup, sippy cup.
I did not see that anywhere. No.
Or the bee. Or is that
I
the
didn't
No,
see
the
the
bee
bee
is the
either.
flower one?
flower one, yeah.
Spike the bee was not there, and I did not see Orange Bird anywhere either.
That last one that we got, the last smoothie that we got with the bee, not the bee, was it
The
the
Orange
bee?
Bird.
Orange
No,
Bird.
Bird.
It all blends together at some point, dude. That was really good.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would have bought that Slurpee like alone without the toy. You
Yeah,
know
it was
what I mean?
very refreshing.
So, with that being said, guess what time it is? That's right, ladies and
Slurpee.
gentlemen. We bring back our infamous Mr. Dave
Sure, we'll
Indy.
go with that.
Sure.
Infamous. I don't know. Dave Indy with your Ask Indy. This is the segment where we get Dave to answer questions that come into UDN and UDN Live. And this one's kind of interesting, isn't it?
It is. I like it. It's actually very helpful information.
Yes.
So from Tom in Texas, how often does the Dragon in Diagon Alley breathe fire, and does it have a name? So if you've not been to Universal, perched on top of the Gringotts Bank in studios is a Ukrainian iron-bellied dragon. It lets out a gasp of fire every 15 minutes, roughly. The fire temperature reaches 3,560 degrees Fahrenheit,
Ouch.
which is
Ooh.
over 16 times hotter than boiling water.
Could you imagine, like, if that somehow misfunctioned? People would be dead.
Yeah, you stand
That
underneath
would
that
end
thing.
badly.
You could feel it. If
Yeah,
you
you-
stand underneath that dragon, you could feel it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
you
nice and
can
warm.
kind of feel it back where the train
Right,
goes over.
exactly.
There,
And
so.
folks, if you haven't been to Diagon Alley and see this thing is impressive.
That's
Yeah.
pretty cool. Yeah,
It is unbelievable. And when it goes off, especially at night, man, it is
Oh, yeah.
unbelievable.
I've got so many photos of it at night because that was my favorite thing. Even during Halloween Horror Nights, I would go in there, the Diagon Alley. Just it was like a reprieve, kind of a real rust area because there's no scare actors or anything going on in there. So
Well, people have a
Nice.
hard time trying to capture the dragon when
But
he
that-
breathes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But there is a
Yep.
small tip, right, Dave?
there is.
Yes.
It lets out a growl, usually right before it blows out fire.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Sometimes it'll growl
That's
as
why I
a
always
few
listen
moment
for
warning,
it.
and then other times, well, it always does one right before it breathes the fire, but other times it'll give you like a warning one sometimes a few moments or like a minute or so beforehand as well. As for a name, really doesn't have one, but Matthew Lewis, when he was asked on a webcast regarding the Potter theme park, he said he would have named it Neville after his character. So on that one,
I've never known it to
Okay.
have a name, though.
no.
Yeah. I can't recall it having a
No,
name.
I always kept wanting to just post a picture of its butt, though, because you can see it from the backside of the park.
Okay, you really?
Well,
Yeah,
le-
if you know where to go for the employee section. There's a parking garage. You can see his butt.
Oh, that's
leave it to
funny.
Dave to just totally take something innocent and make it completely
Of
inappropriate.
course.
Of
So-
course, it's a dragon.
But that was a good question. I
That
love
was a good question.
one.
So-
Yeah.
Tom, if you're in these parks, know that listen for the growl. That's when it's going to blow, so to speak.
Yeah,
And
and it also depends on the time of year, because I know when it's
Weather
slower,
and
it's about like
stuff.
20 minutes. But when we were there, when it was much busier, it was like almost every 10 minutes.
Yeah.
it does
So,
fluctuate, so you have to be
yeah.
careful about that.
Weather also can
Affect
contribute
it too,
to
yeah.
it. Yeah.
So, I mean, we've been around it since its conception, and we've never known it to be named, but that does make sense. So, if you had to say, does he have a name? It's Neville.
There you go.
So, there it is. Thank you, Mr. Indy, for your
Oh,
Dave
thank you.
Ask Indy. We appreciate it.
Always.
All right. So, now we're going to get into our random topic. Now, in light of
Looking at
this
the
whole,
cat.
Simba's over
Oh,
there.
I can see his leg way up in the air.
He's got like 4 paws all on the screen, and
He's yogaing. That's the downward dog, is it not? I'm not
Forget
sure.
about dragon butt. Look at the cat butt.
Yeah. Simba's over in the corner, just
look at me.
yeah,
And you got this one.
Can pass that on the bar.
unbelievable. So, random topic. We talked about this whole situation that happened at Disney, and it opens the door for a conversation that we're going to have, and I'd like to attack this from a couple different points of view. But here's the main thing. Is it time for Disney to realize that there's too many people for their transportation systems? That's what we're going to talk about, and this is your random topic.
Random topic.
Okay. So, in light of what happened this week with everybody going at each other, waiting in these massive lines for the ferry, the question was posed, is it time for Disney to realize that their system is broken? And here's where, before you start going all Karen on me.
No. Because really, it's not at the other 3 parks. It's just at the Magic Kingdom.
Well, that's where I'm going with this. You have to understand that the situation with the transportation is awkward at best. Magic Kingdom, I understand what they were trying to do. They were trying to have like a buffer between security and the park so that they can clear you at the Ticket and Transportation Center so you're free to walk right up to the gate and go in. Awesome concept. But the problem is now that even though we're at 50% capacity, these parks are packed, absolutely packed, and they're wall-to-wall people. And now at the end of the night, some stay for the goodbye kiss, but at the end of the night, everybody is leaving all at once.
Right.
Yep.
And it completely overwhelms the transportation system.
Yeah, because they can only move so many people.
There's lines for the buses. There's lines for the Ubers. There's a massive line for the ferry. There's a massive line for the monorail.
There's a lime in my beer.
There's a lime in his beer. And so my question to you guys is that it's a 2-part.
All right.
Did Disney underestimate how many people were going to come to their parks after COVID? 3 parts, really. Is the transportation system outdated and they can't handle the amount of people that are there? And were they not ready for these people to come back? Because they're not at full capacity employee-wise.
No, definitely not.
So that's less monorails that are going. That's less boats that are going. That's less people.
Well, they've still been running 3 ferries, which they only have 3 ferries. So that hasn't changed.
Well, I don't know. Is one of them in the back right now?
We won't go there now.
You see what I'm saying? So in light of what happened this week with everybody waiting in long lines, they're hot, they're tired, they're frustrated, they spent too much money. And now everybody's on edge as it is. So society is just all about anger these days.
Yeah.
Right? So now you get these situations like we had with the brawl waiting in line for the ferry. Now that kind of forwards the question. If they were running the ferries fast enough, would that situation would have happened? I would seem to think that it would have regardless.
Yeah. Attitudes are attitudes.
Right. But you look at the transportation system, you look at that bus depot that's over to the right, if you're coming off of the ferry. That hasn't changed in decades. So you can only fit so many buses in there. They have the Uber lift, but it's all the way down on the other end. You have the monorail system that can only fit so many people on one monorail, and they're running at 50% because they don't have enough employees to run all the monorails.
No, they've been running 8 monorails.
They've been running 8 monorails at busy times, but they're not at full capacity. And then you add the fact that the boats can only hold so much. Mm-hmm. So my question is there too many people, or is this whole system that they got where you park and then you have to get through the Ticket and Transportation Center and then it's still a trek to get to the park? Is that a broken system? Because we can all agree it's a pain in the ass. It's a pain in the ass to get to Magic Kingdom, and it's a pain in the ass to get home.
Yes,
Yeah.
but you need to factor that in when you are going to that park to know that it is going. You have to plan for that.
Okay, so let me take this a step further, and I'll ask another question. And Dave, feel free to jump in here. Is the Ticket and Transportation Center necessary?
Yes.
Yes.
Why?
Where else are you going to put a parking lot around the Magic Kingdom? There really isn't anywhere for them to go.
Okay.
And they're building something out on the far corner of the parking lot of the Magic Kingdom. They're building a bridge, but what's going to it's going to connect or anything. I have no idea at this point.
So
but-
there's several different ways now that you can get from point A to point B, and I understand why they open that walkway going towards
Yeah,
the
at this point,
Polynesian.
I would rather, when I leave, is just walk back
Walk,
to the ticket
Oh, yeah.
right?
transportation.
But
center.
the people who have been in the parks all day and just finished 12 miles,
well,
the
I
last thing you want to
understand
do
that.
is walk another 2 miles to get to wherever they're going.
You're going to get there a lot faster and
Yes,
probably
I would agree
have
with
a
that.
lot more sanity.
Yeah, ferry boats can hold 600 guests,
Mm-hmm.
where monorails can hold 360 passengers.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to find out.
So I
Right.
mean, obviously, whenever we leave, we usually go by ferry because
Same.
you can fit.
More.
It goes a lot more. It goes a lot more faster.
Well, there's other
obviously.
reasons why we go ferry, because it's nice. It's nice to have a little sea cruise before you go home.
Well,
but
and
The breeze.
the
yeah.
breeze and everything else,
If
right?
it breaks down, at least it's going to float somewhere.
Yeah. and it's that area is shallow, so I mean, worst case scenario, you get eaten by a gator. But the thing about it is, there's only so much opportunities. You know, there's only so many opportunities to get out of the park, and when everybody's leaving at the same time, you have a massive line for the monorails. You have a massive line for the ferry. You run into these situations. You have a massive line for the buses. And don't forget the Uber down the street. So, I mean,
Do you want a death box going across the lagoon?
I don't know, but I just
Well, eventually, the gondola system is supposed to connect everything.
The death box.
Yeah.
You about said yeah.
well, you're
They're
not wrong.
Death boxes.
You're
but
not wrong. But does Disney have a problem here? I think they do. I think they have a real problem here.
It's an outdated system based on the fact of
Correct.
it was built when the park was first built.
Right, and see, here's the issue that I have. That system that they have with the ticket and transportation center and the monorails and all the fun stuff, that was based on at that time's current people
In the
projections.
70s, 80s, even the 90s.
Maybe
Right.
90s, yeah.
Now,
But we still didn't have,
We have-
that big of an issue prior to COVID.
yeah, but now you have 50 times the amount of people, and you're
You still
overstressing.
have the same number of people that were pre-COVID that there are now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
but it
attitude-
was
We didn't have these issues prior.
But it was no,
Attitudes.
I disagree with
Exactly.
that. They had these issues way before then. Is the system
Not to the extent of where there's been brawls and
well?
Yeah,
lines.
No,
social
because
media
that's just
now.
yeah, that's because of social media and everybody hates each other right now. But here's my point: is the system itself broken? Is it designed to handle all these people? Should Disney revisit this and come up with ways that they can move a lot of people at once? Because when these parks close,
What else can they possibly add?
And really, it's only the Magic Kingdom. You can walk to your car from the other one. Technically, you can walk from the Magic Kingdom, but all the other ones are right there at the.
Yeah, and I mean, for Epcot, I mean, it takes you a while to get out of the parking lot, but you can at least walk to your car. you know.
Universal's because it's 2 parking garages and everyone's leaving at once.
Right.
yeah, but Universal's not as bad. I mean, yeah, it gets busy, but it's not as bad as Magic Kingdom.
No, Magic Kingdom,
no,
you got to
Magic
plan
Kingdom
ahead.
is, you definitely need to plan ahead.
And that's my whole point of this random topic
So
is
either
the
leave
situation
early-
at Magic Kingdom is like no other situation that you see at any other park.
No.
So how do they fix it? Because the amount of people are only going to increase, not decrease. If they're really at 50% capacity and they're having these problems now, what is it going to be like when they fully open?
Is to say they will because they want to keep the reservation system.
Well,
Maybe
that's a good point too. But if the transportation systems are already overrun, how are they going to move people safely?
They're going to have to add additional boats, and they're going to need updated modern monorails because those things are sooner or later they're just going to break down.
I
And
mean,
then you're only going to have the ferries and every other option.
and you can't. The only other thing I could see with the boats is you can only ferry one of them at more up one of them at one time.
But I know for
No,
the
you
tickets
can
side,
more
they
up
got 2
2 of
docks. And I don't know on the Magic Kingdom side, but I know there's 2 docks on the other side.
Right. There's
Yeah.
2 docks at the Ticket and Transportation Center, but
they
there's
just-
only one dock
So
at
they built
Magic
a second
Kingdom.
dock so they can run dual.
2 at the same time.
There's room there for them to
Oh,
build
yeah.
another dock.
I
Even if
would
they put
agree
it down towards the buses or something.
where
move
the
it.
curve is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Move it a little bit further down.
They're going to have to do something because these situations are going to happen more and more and more. With today's society, the way things are and the way things are, so people are so on edge, whether it's because of politics or COVID or whatever, you're going to have more and more of these situations where a lot of people on top of each other waiting for something to happen, and tempers are going to flare, and next thing you know, you're going to have more fights.
Yeah, because you can't add more monorails to run back to back for safety reasons, but you can add another boat to move another 600 people.
Okay, so that helps relieve it, but that doesn't solve the problem.
Yeah, but they're known for adding Band-Aids, not fixing things.
Well, that's a great point, too. So how would you fix it?
But there really isn't a way for them to fix it. I mean, you already have the boats that go to the resorts. You have the ferries that go to ticket and transportation. You have the monorails that go to the resorts and the ticket and transportation. You've got the buses that are running to ticket and transportation and the resorts.
They don't always run those buses, unfortunately.
You have the Uber.
I can tell you exactly how you fix it.
I mean,
I'm not riding an Uber to my car.
No, I can tell you exactly how to fix it. You build a bridge, a huge walkway, wide, like I-4 wide.
They won't do it.
That'll go from Magic Kingdom to that island that nothing is happening on outside of the Florida hotel there, and then straight down to where next to Polynesian, to where everybody can just dump right into that walkway and walk all the way back to the
There'll be a person in the water before you know it.
That solves the issue.
Or they could just walk all the way around because there is a walkway.
I have to say, there is already a walkway.
Yeah, but they had it closed for decades. Now it's finally open again. But again, how many people are going to actually use that? You just did 12 miles in the park. You got Disney rash.
If they don't want to stand in line, they're going to walk. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, and I just wanted to hit you guys up to see what the actual answer would be. I mean, how would you fix that situation? Because obviously it needs to be addressed.
Well, you could always walk to the Contemporary and pick up the monorail from there.
I've tried that.
Yeah, I mean,
done that too.
so you have a bunch of different options available to you. So enough with that. But the other option that we haven't talked about is just hang out. Plan your day, like you said. Plan your day that you're going to spend an extra hour in the park when everything's done, and then wait for the crowds to disperse and then try to leave.
Mm-hmm.
The monorails, the boats, they all run till what, 2, 3 a.m.?
No. It's usually like an hour and a half to 2 hours after the park closes.
Yeah. Something like that? Okay. But you get my point, though, right?
Oh, no, absolutely. I get it.
I just don't know what Disney was thinking with this whole system. Like, I understand what you're trying to say. Like, they didn't really have a choice.
Well, it wasn't built for the crowds that are there now.
Hence the point that why we're having this conversation. They've got to address the issue. This whole system with Magic Kingdom is a broken system. And it's like, it was built to handle the crowds of 1980. Not the crowds of 2020.
Mm-hmm.
And now you've got triple, quadruple the amount of people, and you're trying to move them with the same 1980 technology. It's not going to happen. Like, you're going to have to do something. Otherwise, these incidents that happened this past week
would be
are going to continue.
Than like we were back then we wouldn't have these issues.
Well, I think
people can't behave themselves any longer.
Yeah, I think it's only going to get worse. So, folks, if you come down to Central Florida, make sure you bring a luggage full of patience because, these things are going to have to be tolerated. If you're going to sacrifice and go to these parks, and trust me, it's worth it. But there's going to be a lot of people here, and they're going to be very, very on edge, and as everyone seems to be these days. And, you could be in a situation where you're in or near an altercation. So I hope that's not the case, but that's certainly not to try to scare off anybody. But you have to be, a lot of people in a small area.
Be flexible.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's
patience is
what it
a
boils
virtue.
down to, and sadly that.
And in the middle of summer after this Florida heat,
that
people
sense of
don't have
entitlement,
those.
people are.
I gotcha. So that's your random topic for this week. Just wanted to have a conversation about that. I pray that Disney addresses this issue because and this is just the opinion of the podcast host here, that whole entire system is broken. It's a crap system, and it was built in the 80s, and it can't handle the amount of people that we have today. So they better figure out something.
Well, actually, the easiest thing to do, limit the number of people that go into the park.
Yeah, well.
And that's what they do.
Well, technically,
no, they're not.
Well, yeah, they do because they have the reservation system.
Yes, but the reservation system, they just added even more spaces, more days and everything on.
They're trying to make up for the $1 billion loss that they had during COVID.
Somebody needs their bonus.
Right, exactly.
I can't find how long it is. It's 14 feet deep, but I can't find how long across it is if they were trying to do a bridge.
Interesting. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway,
wouldn't work because then you would have the boats trying to get under it and everything else. That's just
no. You don't need to have the boats go under it. It'll parallel where the boats go.
You would still have people trying to get from the Grand Floridian going over to the one behind the Contemporary.
They have the walkway for that.
Boats.
Oh, the boats. Oh,
yeah. Because you have the boats that are going to the Contemporary, you have the boats going to the
yacht
Floridian
that you can rent
yeah,
at the Grand
okay.
Floridian.
You're right. I didn't think about that. Maybe we could throw a drawbridge in there for them. I don't know.
Just opens up the people falling.
Hey, listen, I'm just throwing out ideas here. I'm trying to solve Disney's problem. Disney doesn't want to address
And then
it.
you also have the parade on the lagoon at night.
Yeah,
you want an underwater omni-mover while you're at
I'm
it?
just saying. Flying cars or something. Whatever.
A tunnel underneath?
All right, we're moving on. Sponsors. Let's talk sponsors. We have yet to receive the flying car sponsor. However, go check us out at UDN webpage at worldofudn.com. We have a ton of stuff on there. Go check out the Marketplace. The Marketplace is your Amazon for everything Disney and Universal.
Yeah, it's currently being revamped.
Yep, new stuff's being added all the time,
stuff,
folks.
New sponsors, new everything. So
Yeah, small
lots of
business
good stuff.
Yeah, really, really cool stuff. Listen, holidays around the corner.
Yeah, it'll be here before you know it.
Don't
Don't
remind
remind me.
Don't remind me. So,
hey, it's Christmas in July.
oh God,
You can give me
with
some
these two,
You can give me some rock star and flowers. I'll take a portrait of me.
yeah. Well, speaking of rock stars and flowers, outstanding segue,
I know.
Mr. Indy. Shout out to Sebastian and Clint over there at Rockstars and Flowers. They are our main sponsor of the podcast. They obviously have killed it for a very long time. They just got a new sponsor for new paintings. So if you are into paintings and you'd like a mural of one of your favorite rock stars or celebrity or sports star or whatever, hit them up. Go check them out at Rockstars and Flowers Facebook page. These guys are phenomenal, and they paint every single painting by hand. It is unbelievable.
Yep.
They are really, really, really good at what they do. So we certainly appreciate their sponsorship and their involvement in our podcast. So go check out Rockstars and Flowers. Go check out UDN at worldofudn.com. Go check out the Marketplace, and that'll do it for another podcast.
Yeah.
So
71, I believe.
we are at 71.
Can't believe I'm 69.
Yeah, you missed it. You missed it.
You knew I would have. I'd have been.
I was like,
inappropriate.
what was Dave Indy thinking? He's
Dave
not
Indy.
here for 69.
But you had two women.
Well, I did have 2 women for 69. I did.
Really? Do
Yeah.
we need to go
Well,
there?
he's not lying. I did.
Yeah.
You and Jen, you
Yeah.
know.
Work is work. Can't say no to
Move
the
it
county.
along.
Yeah. So, folks, if you're in these parks, make sure you're hydrating. Okay, we're in the dog days of summer right now. 95, 97 degrees heat. When I left work this afternoon, I think we were at 97.
Yeah,
I
it's a
was
little
shocked.
humid out there.
Yep.
I was like, my God, it's so hot out here.
It's
So
muggy. You're moist in all the wrong places.
that's true story. So we are experiencing what we usually pay the price for in the summer.
Yes.
We
definitely.
Yes.
love the winter down here because it's beautiful, but the summertime we have to pay for that
Yep.
up front, much like the IRS. And we have to pay for it, and we're paying for it right now with our 97-degree heat during the day and rain in the afternoon. But once we get free and clear, of this and it breaks.
October-ish.
Yeah, I think we got a couple more hurricanes coming first. But once the weather breaks, then we're going to start getting to the point where everything starts chilling out and we start getting cooler weather.
Yep.
The golf clubs come back out, right?
Yes.
And we start doing
Look
stuff.
for those days.
I can't even get on the course right now. It's way too hot.
I don't think I could get on a miniature golf course.
Yeah, we still have to do
At
the
night.
miniature golf course.
Yes, at Disney.
Oh,
She's been trying to get me. She's been
Which
trying
one?
to
I've
get
never
me.
been.
Fairways
I
or
haven't been to
the-
either one of them.
She hasn't done
Either?
any of them.
No.
There it is.
Wow, really?
Yes. Yes, Mr. Indy.
Ah, yeah.
Yes.
I hate both of you.
Yes. All right, so we're going to wrap it up. Thanks again for listening, folks. We really appreciate it. UDN Live, we are out. If you're in these parks, be safe, have fun, and we'll talk soon.
Bye.
You have been listening to the official Universal Disney Nuts podcast. Please visit our website at worldofudn.com and join us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for all the latest updates, news, and events from your favorite theme parks. See you in 2 weeks.